Once upon a time, in a glittery kingdom called Mar-a-Lago, there lived a loudmouth named Trump, who fancied himself as the boy who cried wolf, except his wolves were wild tales spun from thin air. With his golden, piss colored mane and a Twitter account sharper than a dragon's claw, Trump roamed the land, hollering conspiracies to anyone who'd listen. His loyal followers, draped in red hats, cheered every word, no matter how bonkers. First, he cried, the Black King Obama ain't from these parts. He swore Obama's birth certificate was faker than a $3 bill, sending his minions to Hawaii to hunt for proof. The kingdom's scribes, weary of his yowling, produced the real certificate, but Trump just shrugged and moved on to sniffing out Obama's college grades. Next, in the year 2020, Trump wailed, "The election was stolen." He claimed 7 million votes were snatched by sneaky ballots and rigged machines. He rallied his red-hatted knights to storm the Capitol, where they swung flagpoles and fire extinguishers, all while Trump grinned from his castle, sipping Diet Coke. The kingdom's wise judges and counters proved the election fair, but Trump's cries echoed on. Then came the tale of the cat and dog eating immigrants. Trump bellowed that Haitians with strange ways were munching on pets in Springfield's quiet streets. "They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs," he roared, whipping his followers into a xenophobic frenzy. The kingdom sheriffs and townfolk debunked it faster than you could say kibble. But Trump's tale fueled his march back to the White House, his followers snarling at shadows. But oh, dear listener, the biggest conspiracy of all was yet to come. Trump, now perched in his golden throne, spun his grandest yarn. A secret list of deep state deviants tied to the wicked Jeffrey Epstein, a man with a plane called the Lolita Express and an island of unspeakable deeds. "I'll expose the Democrats' pizza shop perverts," Trump vowed, promising a list that would make liberals weep. His followers salivated, dreaming of Hillary in handcuffs. Then, one fateful day in July 2025, Trump's Attorney General, Pam Bondi, stepped forward and declared, "There is no list." There's no list. The kingdom gasped. No list? No deviants? Trump's red-hatted flock, expecting a bombshell, felt betrayed. "He lied!" they cried, hurling tomatoes at his gaudy statue. See, Trump had cried wolf one too many times. His followers, once blind with devotion, now saw him as the boy who'd played them for fools. The Epstein scandal grew. Whispers of Trump's own best pal letter to Jeffrey swirling like a storm. "Wonderful secrets, Jeff," it reportedly read, and the kingdom snickered at the irony. His polls plummeted. 59% of his own MAGA crew smelled a cover-up. They tore off their red hats, vowing to go independent, their faith shattered. It never gets old, guys. The controversy swelled like a dragon's belly, swallowing Trump whole. His cries of fake news fell flat. His tweets drowned in jeers. The once charmed king, who dodged impeachments and felonies, vanished in disgrace, his golden pissy mane wilting under the weight of his own lies. The kingdom, tired of wolves that never came, turned away, leaving Mar-a-Lago a quiet, tacky ruin. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the moral of our tale: cry wolf too often, and when the real beast comes, nobody will believe a dang word you say, especially if you're pals with it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you and I both know that this story is far more complicated and has more twists and turns, but it's got some teeth. And it is dragging him down. The question is, how much? How long will it last? When does the damage end? Does it end? Well, we're going to get into that and a whole lot of other things. So I hope you're ready for it, because I am. Let's go. Story time. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. Happy Friday, you guys. Happy Friday indeed. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're hanging in there, keeping it together. There has been some good things that happened this week, some bad things. I literally feel like I looked in the mirror this morning and I feel like I saw a bunch more gray hairs. And I kid you not, I was already going gray. This beard, is pretty much what it was. But yeah, I feel like this administration is aging me prematurely. I'm doing my best to decompress, and we're going to get into some of the things that I've been watching to help me decompress. And there's some of them are good, some of them are BDD. Why are you why are you doing it? But yeah, so let's see who we got here up in the heezy. I want to say a special hello to Miss Blue Lady, who was kind enough to chip in a donation to the show here. Thank you, Blue Lady. I want to say, there is no donation that is too small. It all helps. Every little bit helps. Every penny goes a long way towards helping me prepare the content that I bring to you guys. So let's see. We got Zelda, of course, at the tippy top of our list. Welcome back, Zelda, my friend. Foxhill Dreams, Cadillac River. Let's see. Yeah, look at this. Cadillac River. This is a new name I don't recognize, but it's pretty cool. He's got a question, and it looks like he's playing a guitar. That's cool. Question for Majid: why is Donald Trump being allowed to oversee the Epstein files that he himself is implicated in? That is an excellent question. And why oversee? I'm old school, so like I still use pen and pencil and paper. Why oversee Epstein files. He's in. We will answer that question when we get to that portion of the show. Thank you for asking, and thank you for joining us. Ness from Connecticut is here. Sharon Landry is here. Meredith Powell, of course, she is back in the saddle. Valerie G. Blue Lady, of course, welcome. Joanne Kennedy is here. Monique Lee, welcome, my friend. Majid is here, of course. I'm scrolling through the comments here. CJ hates Maritako. Tina Bradford is here. The Trump Reaper, there she is. And I feel like I saw Simon Powell. Watcher Soko is here. Cindy C is here. She made it, of course. What's that? Cora Jojo? Cora Jojo. That's a fun name. Ginger's mom is here. Ginger's mom. Pam Ham. Look at Pam Ham flash from the past. Tracy M, aka Nurse Mitch, is here. Anto is here. Shelby. Michelle. Stephanie L from Florida. Mama AG. J Dubs. Where is my friend Simon? I could have sworn I saw him. Carla Nicole is here. Carla Nicole or Carla Nicole? There he is. Simon is here. Marie Novak. Okay. I think I caught most of the folks who are commenting. And there, of course, there are always lurkers. Oh, Susan C is here. There are always lurkers in our audience, but please feel free to jump in to the chat. We have a lovely group here. They are very active and very caring. Stella Baxter. Stella Baxter is here. This is a wonderful group. I am honored and privileged to be to have them as my audience. Samantha Hawkins. So yeah, definitely jump in with these folks. They're wonderful. Antisocial Quokka, Strawberry Fields. Oh, look at this. Strawberry Fields says, my Senator Ron Wyden has an in-depth investigation going on about Epstein. That's good to see. Good to see it. Ron Wyden is a good senator. Good on you. And Diana McNamara is here. Okay, so if I missed you, I apologize. We will definitely make sure I follow up on that later. G. Ash, I see. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get this show on track with our stories of the day.
Stories of the day.
All right, stories of the day, and our top story, as you can see there on the title slide, it says Epstein files. There's in neon lights there, and there is a statue, a somewhat lifelike looking statue of Donald Trump with a note that says best pal to Jeff. That's Jeffrey Epstein. And directly to the right of the word expose there, the title says Epstein files expose Trump's secret betrayal. There's a sign one of his angry supporters is holding up. It says liar. And if you see those little red orbs there, those are not balloons. Those are tomatoes. They are throwing tomatoes. And I want to say it's a funny thing. Like one of Donald Trump's obsessions, when he talks about audiences expressing their displeasure, he always goes back to 1940 when people were throwing tomatoes and rotten vegetables in an audience. And I guess I guess that was meaningful because maybe, I don't know, maybe back in the 20s and 30s when the Depression, people could barely put a meal together. So if you're throwing food, you're really pissed because food was scarce back then. So if you're throwing food to note your displeasure, you are really angry about something. All right. So first off, we have something that really, really is upsetting and head scratching. The top late night host, Stephen Colbert, his show has been canned starting May 2026. We'll get into why. And of course, the story that will never die is Donald Trump, who actually helped fuel the frenzy around this Jeffrey Epstein Frankenstein monster. It's taken a few turns for the worse, and I'll tell you why I love it. And here's something that you thought, since we're talking about conspiracy theories today, and we are talking about conspiracy theories, here's something that I thought I had put behind me, thought it was in my rearview mirror, but it was around this time last year, it's almost a year to the day, when Donald Trump was in Butler, Pennsylvania, and something happened that half of the onlookers said, "Oh my goodness, how horrible," and the other half were like, "I'm not buying it." And today I saw a video that really made me scratch my head and say, "Oh, that's a different angle." So I'm going to share that different angle with you and let you judge for yourself what the hell happened on that day. And last but not least, of course, we have the dumbest Trump comment of the week. As I always say, that's tough. That's tough sledding, because he usually has a dozen or so really, really idiotic things that he says. So if it made it to the dumbest statement of the week, it's pretty dumb. If you are here for the first time, make sure you please hit that like and subscribe button. The like button looks like a thumbs up, and the subscribe is right down there in the lower right corner of the screen. And next up, I have here, this was my Substack for this week. As some of you who don't know, I do write a Substack, and perhaps there is no better Substack than mine. because I have written it. This week's Substack says, excuse me, Trump's Epstein betrayal implodes. Why MAGA is turning on him. And as you can see, the Epstein files looks like they're burning, as well as a MAGA hat. I saw videos this week of people burning their MAGA hats. And if you think that's not happening, you're not paying attention. There are people who are really, really upset. And I know some of the MAGA trolls out there, they're trying to spin this any way they can, but it is what it is. You can deny that your party is on fire, or you can go try to find a bucket of cold water and douse that fire. Or maybe you should douse yourself with that bucket of cold water and break out of that cult fever that you're stuck in. Some people, some Trumpers, are breaking out of that cult fever. Here's an excerpt from what I wrote here. He promised to expose the list. He, as in Trump, promised to expose the list, as in the Epstein client list. And now he's backing out with some of the lamest distractions and excuses I've ever seen. Folks, I don't know if you've ever seen a movie where somebody is being chased, and I can't help but think of this every time he does this distraction thing. He's trying to get away from the mess that he created. He throws everything out there. He says, first he said it was fake news. Then he says it was Obama and Biden. Then they throw out some other story, oh, we're going to investigate James Comey and what's his face, John Brennan. Yeah, that's what. And it reminds me of when you watch a movie and someone is being chased by either cops or bad guys, and they run through like, I don't know, a commercial kitchen, right? And so you see them pulling things down behind them, knocking shelves over, knocking over garbage cans behind them to impede the progress of those who are chasing that person. And that's what Donald Trump is in the process of doing now. He's knocking things over. He's throwing every distraction he possibly can muster to get away from this thing that he's created. So after the uproar caused by Bondi's betrayal announcement that, quote unquote, there is no list, Donnie Dumbass tried to distract MAGA with an investigation of James Comey and John Brennan. When that didn't work, he blamed the Epstein hoax on President Obama and Hillary Clinton. See, he drenched his MAGA masses in visions of liberal tears, expecting Democrats to cry more as a result of the list being exposed and hanging their heads in shame. If it were that simple, Trump would have done it already. Think about it. I get people coming at me in my tweets, in the replies, and they're like, hey, Brooklyn Dad, if you're so smart, Joe Biden had the list. Excuse me. Joe Biden had the list 4 years. Why didn't he do anything with it? Well, actually, Jeffrey Epstein was arrested during Donald Trump's first term. He killed himself, supposedly killed himself, during Donald Trump's first term. He had all that time to do something with it. Why didn't he? He's the one who ran on exposing the list. Don't kick it back on us and say, why didn't we do something about the thing that he promised to do something about? Huh? Come on now. What, you think we're all stupid like you? We're not. He spent a considerable amount of time and resources looking for dirt on his eventual opposition candidate, Joe Biden, in 2019. So it's clear he wouldn't hesitate to harm the political futures of any Democrats. But the shifty jackass methodically got his most vocal supporters to back off and reverse course in an attempt to snuff out the life of his conspiracy theory Frankenstein monster. But it was alive and would not be denied. Yeah, so there's more of that stuff in my Substack that I have written this week. So make sure you check it out at my Substack, Defiant Dispatches. Don't miss it. It's fantastic. So says I. Okay. All right. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this show. As we all know, Donald Trump has ordered Tom Homan and ICE to conduct raids, immigration. I can't even call it immigration. They're deportation raids in which many people, citizens and non-citizens alike, are being deprived due process. And by that, I mean they are not being given the opportunity to go before a judge and either A, prove that they are not undocumented immigrants. A lot of the people they're grabbing off the street are United States citizens. Some of them have served our country as Marines or Army. I'm going to share something with you guys today that literally, I don't know why it was this one, but this one literally brought me to tears. And it's not that it was necessarily, more impactful than any of the other videos that we've seen. We've all seen them. We've all seen emotional, impactful videos where someone is crying, they're beside themselves or whatever. But this one just kind of really fucking hurt me, and so let me just put this up here. I think maybe it was the tone in this woman's voice. There's a woman making a plea on behalf of her husband and the callous, uncaring, masked faces of these goons who are determined to take him away no matter what. And yeah, let's see, where is it? Yes, this one here.
Get the fuck out of the way! Why are you gonna face me? He's a U.S. citizen! You're stupid as fuck! Leave him alone! He's a U.S. citizen! What are you doing? He's a U.S. citizen! His brother's a Marine Corps officer! Get off of him! No! Man! Don't resist! What the fuck? He's a U.S. citizen! He's a U.S. citizen! He's a U.S. citizen! Who are you? He's a U.S. citizen! Don't touch him! That's my husband! Hey, just stay back. He's my husband!
Stay back. This is an active scene right now.
It's not a fucking active scene! You're fucking Latino! Look at your face! And this is what you're doing? He's a fucking U.S. citizen! No! You fucking try to mace me, you stupid bitch!
Or you be maced.
For what? For what? He's a fucking U.S. citizen! No! Let me record! No! I get the fuck out of my face!
You get back.
What?
It's just flat on tire, so go
What?
back.
You don't even know what to say, you're fucking stuttering, you bitch!
You'll be arrested as well.
For what?
For impeding an arrest.
I'm not impeding shit! I'm recording you!
Get back.
You don't even have a fucking real badge! Okay, what's your badge number?
Google me.
You're nothing, you stupid bitch!
I need you to stay back.
That's my husband! That's my husband! He's a fucking U.S. citizen! Stop me fucking hitting him!
He's in there. Hey, move back or you can get arrested. Look out. I told you.
How long are we going to keep letting this go on? How long is America going to tolerate this? Does it require your own husband or wife or child being detained? They grabbed up a 6-year-old leukemia patient this week. Another one, 15-year-old kid sent to Alcatraz. Come on. What the fuck are you assholes afraid of? You bitches, you punk ass, scaredy cat fuckers. You claim, oh, it's fine. As long as they're here legally, we don't care. You're detaining United States citizens. Based off of what? That they look Latino? He didn't he didn't have his Marine card handy, so you're gonna throw him in a fucking van? How dare you, scumbags? And here's a disgusting thing. I mean, it's all disgusting, but I saw that ICE is offering like something like $45,000 signing bonuses to these thugs to do that shit, and salary starting at $100,000, and we have teachers. We have teachers who are barely making 50 grand, who are expected to spend their own money for school supplies for kids. In the middle of the Trump administration trying to defund firing thousands of people and trying to defund the Department of Education. So we have all this money for all this cruelty, but we don't have money to invest in our own kids. What is happening? What is happening? America, why are we letting this happen to our own kids, to our own husbands and wives? Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. I'm fucking beside myself with that. Zelda, my friend, I wish I could say it with more happiness, but Zelda, thank you. Thank you so kindly. Thank you for the kind donation. Thank you for helping me to continue bringing this message to the folks out there. Something has to be done. I'm shocked that more people aren't taking a stand. More people aren't out there in the streets, preventing this from happening. I can't even tell you how much time I spend on a daily basis, like going through my brain, right? All these different scenarios, like, all right, so now I'm considering, going through with availing myself of my Second Amendment right, number one. And number two, I'm imagining scenarios in which I have to run out there into the street to defend my neighbor or some of my neighbors, because I'll be damned if I'm going to sit back quietly like a punk ass bitch while a group of masked thugs comes into my neighborhood to take my friends and family and neighbors away. Nope. So yeah, on a daily basis, I probably spend an hour just going through different scenarios, how I would react, what I would do, who I would call. It's time. Oh boy. All right. So a Gallup poll taken recently says that 79% of Americans say that immigration is good for the country. And then, of course, when I post this, I get a bunch of angry Trumpers like, of course you left out legal immigration. We don't mind about, fuck you. They don't care about legal immigration because, look, I just saw Tommy Tuberville was confronted by a reporter, and the reporter said, did you know that listen to this craziness, right? A United States Senator, Tommy Tuberville, is asked, did you know that United States citizens are being detained and arrested? And Tommy Tuberville's answer was, well, they shouldn't put themselves in that situation to be apprehended. And the reporter's like, what? Yeah. It was like, what are you talking about? And he says, well, if they shouldn't be hanging out with illegals, he said, his words. They shouldn't be hanging out with illegals. What the fuck? I've heard people say that this situation should not be compared to the Holocaust. Obviously, there are big differences between what's happening now and what happened in the Holocaust, because we have the advantage of 2020. We have the advantage of hindsight, of looking back and seeing what happened. Ultimately, what happened was 6 million people were slaughtered, were massacred in a mass genocide. But it didn't start off that way. It did not start off with, in the beginning, they were being taken to big gas chambers where they were gassed to death. It didn't start off like that. It started off just people just being rounded up and being put to work, just rounding them up. It started off before then. It started off with their leader, Hitler, demonizing them and making the German public think that they were less than human, that they did not deserve to be treated like human beings. So it's the dehumanization. So when people refer to an undocumented immigrant as an illegal, what pops up in your brain? When Donald Trump says that they're vermin and they're poisoning the blood of our country, what pops up in your head? And unfortunately, this shit just kind of all gets it gets lost in the miasma, the movement of the news cycle. The news cycle changes and moves with every new scandal and every new controversy. I say if it bleeds, it leads. And right now, this is not leading because Donald Trump's scandal with Epstein is causing waves. But ICE has just been supercharged with 170 billion with a B, 170 billion dollars of funding, whereas the shit that they're doing now, they've been doing with no funding, with zero funding. They ran out of funding a month ago. Imagine what they're going to do with 170 billion dollars, giving out that kind of money, those kind of signing bonuses to people out there who are evil, who are wicked, and they are miserable, and they have a gripe with brown people, whether they're speaking Spanish or whether they're speaking Indian or Hindu or whatever. They have a gripe with those people. And now they're going to be paid to inflict cruelty on those people. This is what's happening. This is fucked up. It's fucked up. I included this in our news thing today because I think it's funny. It's a new level of taco-ness for Donald Trump, right? So taco is taco means Trump always chickens out. So Donald Trump previously has expressed his anger, his frustration to Vladimir Putin, not by calling him crooked, not by calling him a pencil neck or calling him, any of the other expletives or nasty things that he's said to, I don't know. He called the bishop, the Catholic bishop who asked him to show mercy, he called her nasty, right? So he hasn't called Vladimir Putin nasty. He's just said, I'm very disappointed. He's doing his Susan Collins impersonation. I'm very disappointed. I'm very angry. He doesn't even raise his voice when he says it too. He's scared of Vladimir Putin. So he gave Moscow a 50-day ultimatum. 50 days. 50 days. Let me just put this in perspective for you, okay? Prior to the day before he imposed this 50-day ultimatum on Vladimir Putin, Russia launched 3,600 drones at Ukraine in one day. The whole previous week, they only hit them with 1,800 drones. Now, 3,600 drones in one day at Ukraine. One day. So multiply that one day's worth of damage times 50 days. How much damage can Russia do in 50 days? And we're saying 50, we're capping this at 50 as though at the end of those 50 days, Donald Trump is going to say, all right, that's it. Your time is up. So now I have no choice but to give you another 50 days. That's what's going to happen. That is going to happen. That's insane. Like you put sanctions, you put tariffs on an island full of penguins. You haven't even hit Russia with tariffs yet. What are you even doing, you piece of shit chicken, bitch? Yeah, from now on, whenever I think of Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, I will always only see this picture from Helsinki. He will forever be Putin's puppet, as Hillary called him. He will forever be a cock holster bitch for Vladimir Putin. Nothing more. This story was bizarre. I'm just including this because I missed out on this. Somebody mentioned it to me in a reply to a tweet yesterday, and I was like, Coldplay? What? so apparently there was a CEO of a company. I think it was like a astronaut or something like that. The CEO was having an affair with the HR person from his company. And then they went to a Coldplay concert and they got caught on like one of those kiss cameras or something, like when they focus on you. And if you're with the person that you're supposed to be with, you're like, oh, that's so sweet. Let's kiss, honey. But if you're if you're with someone who you're not supposed to be with, wait, let me see if I have that. I think I believe I flagged that that video. Let's see. Let's go here. There it is.
Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair.
Yeah, that's funny as hell. The dude ducked down out of sight. And yeah, whatever comes your way, dude, you know, I have no sympathy for you whatsoever. You know, I don't have sympathy for people who cheat you, who step out on their spouses. If you're done with the relationship, you know, don't be an asshole. Just fucking end it, you know, sack up, go to that person and say, look, it's not working. Let's end it. But don't carry on behind their back. That's rotten. That's shitty. It's a shitty thing to do. It's shitty, I say. All right, where were we? Oh. then of course, after the news broke about the Donald Trump birthday note, somebody photoshopped this thing with Trump and Jeffrey Epstein being caught on the kiss camera. But let's talk about Stephen Colbert, because that was like a gut punch. Stephen Colbert has been one of us. When I say one of us, like one of the resistance, one of the good ones, one of the fighters for democracy for a very long time. At first he was on the Daily Show as one of Jon Stewart's correspondents, but then he branched off and did his own thing called the Colbert Report, which was a hilarious show in which he pretended to be a right-wing fanatic. And if you have not ever seen the Colbert Report, just type in Colbert Report on YouTube and have a ball, because that dude was so convincing. I honestly, you know, when I first saw him, I was like, who is this asshole? But his portrayal of right-wing fanaticism was so over the top, absolutely hilarious. So then they gave him his own show, following in the footsteps of David Letterman on The Late Show on CBS. And then we found out yesterday that his show has been canceled by CBS and is ending in May 2026. And I don't get it. I don't get it. He is at the top of his game. There is nobody in late night TV who is bringing in bigger audiences. Now, how I understand it is that as a whole, I think late night TV comedy, whatever, has dropped off overall, has dropped off. And I don't know what's causing that, but guys, we need those guys. Those late night TV show hosts are our truth tellers. They are our truth tellers, like more so than like the MSNBC anchors during the day, everyone who comes up before Nicole Wallace, you can go kick rocks. You suck. You're worthless. You're worthless. You're as useless as a screen door on a submarine, right? So these guys, these comedians, these late night comedians are better than the daytime hosts on MSNBC, probably better than most of the folks on CNN. I happen to like damn it, what's her name? Phillips. I don't watch it because she has that guy on her show all the time, Scott Jennings. So I can't even watch. Oh, Katie Fang is great, but they kicked her off. And so now she has a thing on Substack, I think, with Midas Touch. Yeah. So I saw this thing here. People are saying to boycott CBS, which I fully agree with. I'm only boycotting right now. My boycott schedule is light. I'm boycotting Target and not much else. Abby Phillips. Thank you, guys. CBS, boycott CBS and Paramount. CBS canceled Late Show with Stephen Colbert because he called Paramount settling a lawsuit with Trump, quote, a big fat bribe. Stephen Colbert is rated number 1 in his time slot. This is CBS caving in to Trump's fascism. Boycott now. Yeah, so in addition to, and CBS has already caved previously in this deal with 60 Minutes, right? Donald Trump was upset about an interview that was given to Kamala Harris in which he insisted that they edited the interview with Kamala Harris so that she comes across favorably. Like, I've seen the before and the after. There's no difference. There's almost, it's a negligible difference. They're not doing her any favors with the edit at all. So it's a frivolous lawsuit, but CBS, instead of standing up to this fucking asshole, they caved to him. Same thing that ABC did with George Stephanopoulos. They apologized to him. And I think they gave him some money or something, $15 million, something. It's disgraceful. Disgraceful, I say. Where was I here? Okay. But the Trump appointed head of the Federal Communications Commission launched an investigation, a complication for Paramount as it seeks administration approval of its proposed merger with Skydance Media. So that, in a nutshell, is why they're bending over to appease him, is because they want this merger to go through. It's bullshit. And, you know, Stephen Trump has laced that ass up on more than one occasion. Why is Donald Trump such a thin-skinned punk-ass bully, right? He loves to throw out the insults to whoever can catch him. But when they come back his way, oh, they should cancel this channel. They should revoke their FCC license. That's next. He's been threatening to cancel NBC's license because of Saturday Night Live, and he's threatened to do it to CBS and ABC. Guys, if you don't stand up now, there's going to be nobody left to stand up to him. Damn it. Meredith says fetuses have a thicker skin than Trump. Yeah, that's right. I call him Trumple thin skin. Okay, so yeah, Paramount will pay $16 million in settlement with Trump over 60 Minutes interview. I would boycott CBS 100%. There's no reason to watch any of their content. And, you know, I would post about it too. I would post it, said, put your tweets, your Facebook posts, your Instagram, make it a thing, make it a trend, and spread the word. Spread the word. Stephen Colbert is a good guy. He's smart, he's funny, and we need him right now at a time where there's so many cowards out there bending the knee to this fucking fascist jackass. We need more people who are unafraid to tell the truth. to look the truth in the face and give it the middle finger. So yeah, spread the word to anybody who will listen to boycott CBS. Let's get into this this thing here. this thing is it's like the gift that keeps on giving, even though honestly I really would prefer to not have my news cycle dominated by discussions of a pedophile and his deceased friend Jeffrey Epstein. But anyway, the news came out. This was a Wall Street Journal article that that they knew was coming out, that Trump knew was coming out. He tried to head them off at the pass. He tried calling Wall Street Journal and threatening a lawsuit. Like, I'm going to sue if you publish this. And he even called, damn, the old guy, the owner. I can't remember the Australian old guy. But they called him too. And Rupert Murdoch. They called him too. And they were like, we're going to publish it. And so lo and behold, the article included letters that were written to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday, and one note in particular from Donald Trump, in which he said, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." And I get like nauseous when I read that sentence, because you can only imagine what that wonderful secret is if you know anything about Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump insists that it was fake. He says the Wall Street Journal printed a fake letter, supposedly to Epstein. These are not my words, not the way I talk. He always says that. He always says that. And it's been proven time and again. That's exactly how you speak and exactly what you do. Also, I don't draw pictures, he said. Let's go to the videotape. So, BBC back in 2017 published an article with a picture autographed by Donald Trump. Drawing by President Trump sells for nearly $30,000. What? Wait, let me do that again. Drawing by President Trump sells for nearly $30,000. Yeah, man. Yeah. So what did he say? I told Rupert Murdoch it was a scam, that he shouldn't print this fake story, but he did. And now I'm going to sue his ass off and that of his third-rate newspaper. Thank you for the attention to this matter. He does that now. He thinks it makes him seem fancy. Thank you for your attention to this matter, DJT. So let me see. I love this crowd, this audience, you viewers I have here, because you guys are on top of it. You know what time it is. I'm going to ask a question to the audience now. Why would Donald Trump suing the Wall Street Journal be the worst thing he could do to himself? Anybody tell me, why will this be bad? It's a one word. It could be a one word answer. There it is. Cindy C was first with "Can't wait for Discovery." Yeah, but then a few of you jumped right after her. J Dubs said Discovery. Meredith Powell said Discovery. You are 100%. You're 100% correct. Wait. Yeah. Discovery will destroy Donald Trump, because what that is when you sue somebody, that means you have to open up for discovery, your records and the things that you have that help the defense prove, that refute your claims. So yeah, that will be disastrous for him. And I can't wait. Discovery is right, you guys. Very good. Okay. Where were we? Yeah. And here's Mr. I Don't Draw with tons of drawings. But this is what he does. He says, I didn't do it. This is not me, et cetera, et cetera. So when he was being deposed in the case, in E. Jean Carroll's case against him for defamation, she sued him for defamation because he said that she was lying about the sexual assault that took place in that department store. They showed Trump a picture because he said, she's not even my type. He said E. Jean Carroll was not his type, which is also just a disgusting thing to do. Like, I didn't commit sexual assault to her because she's not the type that I would sexually assault, So they showed him a picture, this picture here, of E. Jean Carroll, and they said, do you know who this woman is standing in front of you in the photograph? And he says, oh yeah, that's my wife, Marla Maples, who clearly, if he married Marla Maples, that would make Marla Maples his type. But no, that's not Marla Maples. That's E. Jean Carroll, the woman you said was not your type, but now you've mistaken for your wife. He does it all the time. It isn't clear how the letter with Trump's signature was prepared inside the outline of the naked. Oh, yeah. So he's apparently drawn a picture of an outline of a naked woman. Who cares about that? Inside the outline of the naked woman was a typewritten note styled as an imaginary conversation between Trump and Epstein, written in the third person. Voiceover. There must be more to life than having everything, the note began. Donald, yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. This is weird, too. It's like a back and forth between him and Epstein that he himself wrote. Jeffrey, nor will I, since I also know what it is. Donald, we have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Yes, we've established that. Jeffrey, yes, we do. Come to think of it. Donald, enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? Jeffrey, as a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. Trump, a pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. Folks, I can't even begin to express how much that little note says about his perceived relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Another wonderful secret he mentions. Another wonderful secret. May every day be another wonderful secret. How many quote unquote wonderful secrets did they share? How many things in common did they share? He describes him as a pal. That's a long thing, man, that he typewrote and did a little naked woman doodle. Why the naked woman? That's the thing that they have in common, right? What do they have in common? Joanne Kennedy says about 2,000 victims. Now, if not more. It boggles my mind that more Trump supporters don't want to get to the bottom of this. I saw earlier this week, a split in MAGAville, a split where half of the mega influencers were pissed off about this, including, of all people, Laura Loomer. She was pissed off about this and thought it was being handled poorly. Charlie Kirk, of course, no surprise, he ticked his little five head back into place and said, I'm not going to talk about this anymore because, well, there's nothing else needs to be said about it. And, just like that, one by one, all of the major right-wing influencers said that they were going to not speak about it anymore. You went from making it a part of who you are to now I don't need to talk about it anymore. Really? It was your whole thing. It was one of the main things you were interested in. But that was when you were certain that Democrats were going to be on the receiving end of whatever punishment was due to these nasty pedophiles. Except, oops, maybe it's not quite as many Democrats as you thought it was. Maybe I don't know, maybe it's billionaires, powerful people who are under the radar. Maybe it's people who, it would be very inconvenient for the public to even learn their names. Who knows? But you've got enough powerful people scared, running scared. I would like to get to the bottom of it. And then he called his followers stupid. He said, whoever is still interested in this is stupid and a weakling. I tweeted here, by calling MAGA stupid for wanting transparency on that child rapist Epstein's files, Trump has been more disrespectful to his own voters than he's ever been towards, quote unquote, not a fan, quote unquote, terrific guy, Jeffrey Epstein. Why is he protecting a pedophile? As I mentioned earlier in the show, I pointed out that there were so many different slurs and negative nicknames that he's given to upstanding politicians, Democrats, and Republicans. Come to think of it, he used to call Marco Rubio Lil Marco, and celebrities. He's all of these negative things that he's had to say about celebrities and politicians alike. Not one negative thing about Vladimir Putin. But here's the most interesting thing is that he hasn't said one nasty thing about Jeffrey Epstein. Now, after the show, go on to Google, go on to Grok, go on to ChatGPT, and ask the question, has Donald Trump ever said a negative thing about Jeffrey Epstein? Will come up zero, nothing. And that's insane. He says negative shit about everybody, about the Pope, the previous Pope, Pope Francis. Nothing negative about the most notorious pedophile of all time. Why is that? He's dead. What are you afraid of? Piss on his grave. That's bizarre. Shelby says he's a horrible artist, by the way. I like that. It boggles my mind. He's in so many pictures with this dude and his partner, Ghislaine Maxwell, who he wished her very well. She's someone who was also complicit in very heinous, horrible things done to little girls. Let's be clear. I've been tweeting about this for years, ever since Jeffrey Epstein was put in prison. I was like, whoever is implicated with his ass should be in prison with him. I don't care if it's Bill Clinton or whatever Democrats are in there, or Prince, what did they say? Prince Andrew, him too. All of them must go. Everyone must go. Because if you're a pedophile, then you don't have a party. You're in the party of pedophiles. Ironically, Republicans voted to protect, to not disclose the Epstein files, of course. Not shocking. And Trump has recently, as of last night, asked for the release of grand jury documents in the Epstein case. This could potentially also include testimony and possibly testimony by witnesses and victims alike. Why? Just, why would you do that? That's not what anybody asked for. They want the names of the guilty. Name them and shame them. All right, let's get into this thing here. Oh, astronomer. That was the name. Thank you, Marie Novak. Like 15 minutes later, I was talking about what company. That was the name of the company, right? Thank you for that. Let's talk about this thing here, right? So almost a year ago, Donald Trump was holding a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, and somebody made their way to a rooftop with a gun within firing distance of the stage that Donald Trump was on. Now, I'm not a Secret Service expert by any stretch of the imagination, but even I know you lock down those rooftops. You lock down the windows. Anybody here seen The Dark Knight? With Batman and the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker, et cetera, et cetera. There was a speech being given, and a shot was taken at the mayor from one of the windows. You're supposed to lock those down. Lock them all down. Major security failing, because there were no other buildings other than these two massive buildings, one of which the shooter climbed on top of, unimpeded. How do you not have a phalanx of guards all around those buildings? Huh? What? Makes no sense whatsoever. None. 0.0 sense. Here's what made even less sense. This picture, which has now become famous, shows him defiantly raising his hand. This is mere moments after the one shooter was supposedly taken out. Do we know if there's another shooter? Why is he exposing his head and his chest to a potential second or third shooter? This has got to be the most catastrophic failure of all time of security. And you see that black pole there in the background? That is a crane that happened to lower that flag into the frame, into the picture, right at the moment that he raised his hand. That flag was lowered there, and it's like, what? Why am I even talking about this? Why am I talking about this? Well, because yesterday I was talking with Jojo from Jersey, who, by the way, has a great podcast. It's called Sane-ish, and she also has a Substack, so make sure you check her out too. Oh, Jojo and I have a show that we do every week, Thursday at 2 or 2:30, depending on how our schedules are looking. 2 or 2:30, check us out. Me and Jojo is like the Jojo and BDD show on Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Central Time on Substack. And she was telling me that there was a video that came out that shows a different angle, that shows that photographers were being shuffled into place to take pictures during this time. And I was like, get out of here. I love a good conspiracy theory. And she was like, no, it's true. So I'm going to share with you the video that I found that I saw earlier today. And it's just, I don't know why I'm shocked by it, but it is kind of shocking in how brazen it is. Wait. Oh, that's one. Here we go. All right.
The president's been shot. Oh no. No. Either that or they're covering. We don't know. Either that or they're covering him. We love you. We love you, President Trump. We love you. We love you, President Trump. We love you. Yes. 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 We love you, President Trump. No.
Did you see the crane move the flag into place? That's wild. Watch this. Watch again. Watch from the right side of the screen.
We love you. Yes. 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 We love you, President Trump. No. Oh, no, he's not. He's not. Oh, who did it? He's shot. It could just be his ear. He's shot. It could just be his ear. He's walking.
It could just be his ear. They already know.
Who did it? Dude, that's fucking wild.
Not one person there. Not one person has ducked down. They're all standing as though it's safe. Yeah, it's safe. Go ahead, stand up. It's fine. It's fine. Remain standing, please. So if you look on your screen here, you see that circle there. That's the guy who was shuffling the photographers around. You see that right there? There he is. Instead of locking this scene down, when you fake your own assassination, they let you pose for pictures. Here's another one here. Oh, I got to turn the volume down here because I can't afford to pay the royalties for that song. So there he is being slowly led to his car. Look at the agents around there. They're all shorter than him, which is weird. You have a bunch of 5'2", 5'3" agents. They kind of all look like they're play acting, because when he stands at the door here, he waves again. They don't push his head down. He could have been sniped again. And look at this play acting. Okay, look around. Can't even put my gun back in my holster. So idiotic. So idiotic. So look, you guys know. I enjoy a good conspiracy theory. I try not to get carried away with it, because at the end of the day, what are we going to do? What are we going to do with this information, right? The people in power, the people at the top who were supposed to be looking into this, putting this under a finer magnifying glass, they chose not to. The people in the media chose to support this as gospel, as this is what happened. This is obviously what happened. And even despite the fact that a large percentage of people who saw this go down, they doubt that it went down the way it is supposed to be, the way it's alleged. We have people both on the left and the right who think that it was staged. Look at this article by the BBC. It says how social media assassination conspiracies are uniting pro and anti-Trump voters. It's wild. And I get people saying, why would they sacrifice, that fireman who died? Are you kidding me? People in power will sacrifice an entire building of innocent people to take out one person. You ever heard of like a drone strike being approved, and then boom, 30 people are killed or more just to get one guy? And sometimes they'll explain it away as, oh, this was a mistake. This was this wasn't even our missile. It was a misfire. Or they'll say that, all of them, they were all terrorists. And who are we? We are just, taxpayers. We are the observers. We are the people who are being fed the garbage that they feed us. So, look, I don't approve of having my brain constantly tied into, conspiracy, right? But I also don't like being pissed on and told that it's rain, right? I like to have my eyes and ears open and decide for myself what I think happened. And so I'm not buying that explanation that that's what happened, that all these failures happened, that they let the guy on the roof, that they let him put his hand up, they let him expose his head, wait, my shoe, all that stuff, that the flag just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and the photographers, and then the people behind him, instead of locking that area down for security purposes, you let photographers back there. You're 100% sure none of them have a gun on them? Come on. So why would they do that? Because it supercharged his campaign. After that, the campaign was very, very different. He wore a patch on his ear, a gauze on his ear for 1 week, 7 days. And then his ear was miraculously healed. Miraculously. I've seen videos that show that ear should have been ripped in half, even if it was just nicked by an AR-15 bullet. The top half of his ear should have just been disintegrated. But no, he had a little tiny, it's like a paper cut. It's a paper cut on his ear. Not even. Where's the scar? Nobody cares to see where the scar is. Mainstream media, you have failed us miserably. Oh, look at that. The Fox Hill Dream says the next day he was playing golf. He was playing golf. My goodness. Here, Heidi Grattan says he was golfing without a bandage in Bedminster the day after the shooting. Why? Why are we doing this stuff here? Anyway, let me share with you guys what I've been watching this past week or so. Excellent show. If I don't know if you guys, any of you out there are fans of the show Bosch, which was written by a guy named Michael Connolly, who's an excellent writer. Bosch is a fantastic show on Amazon Prime about this guy named Harry Bosch, who's a detective in Los Angeles, who has a sick house that's all glass walls and overlooks Los Angeles. Ballard is kind of like a crossover show because she interacted with Harry Bosch in his last season, his most recent season of Bosch Legacy. Her name is Maggie Q, which I love saying. Maggie Q. Maggie Q is a phenomenal martial artist. I'm not sure if she does martial arts for real, but she's been in a ton of movies where she's kicking people's asses. In this, she plays a no-nonsense detective who has been assigned to the cold case department that was really non-existent and is comprised of mostly volunteers and herself. And she gets into these cold cases and she breaks them down. And it's a really fantastic show with a great cast, and it's got that emotional content in there. Harry Bosch, the guy, I think the actor's name is Titus Welliver. He makes a few cameos on the show there. It's a great show. I loved it so much. We we tore through this in like 2 or 3 days. The whole season is available now. I hope they come up. They have to do a second season because there is a cliffhanger. Spoiler alert. Excuse me. And I'm putting this up here, The Office, because Wifey and I just finished rewatching The Office, me for like the 7th time, her for like the 3rd time. We rewatched the whole show, and it's great for rewatching. It's a fantastic show if you can make it past the first season, because Michael Scott, the main character in the center of this picture, is such an asshole in the first season. It turns most people off, and that includes his own parents. His own parents couldn't stand the first season of the show, but it's a great show. And I brought that up because we're probably going to be rewatching Parks and Recreation, which is filmed in the same kind of, interview style. The man in the center of the picture here with the porn stash, his character's name is Ron Swanson. I cannot remember his real name. It escapes me, but he's starring in this movie that just came out called Sovereign, which I'm going to try my damnedest to see. Nick Offerman is his name. And yes, Simon, I have watched the British version. I don't care for it. I watched it. I love the American version better. Nick Offerman plays this guy in this movie called Sovereign, who is similar to his character in Parks and Recreation, Ron Swanson. He's like a libertarian, right? He believes that government should stay all the fuck the way out of his business. And that's that. And it's like, I guess in this movie, he goes through some kind of mental crisis where he kind of goes on a tear and he arms up. And it's a little similar to, I think, similar in concept to the movie from the 80s with Michael, my goodness. It's troubling that these things, the name of this movie is called Falling Down. And you will forgive me, guys, if these things, what the hell is his name? Oh my God. From Wall Street, from The Game. He's Michael Douglas. There it is. And Michael Douglas goes to a McDonald's type store, and he wanted a breakfast sandwich, but it was 1 minute past 11. They're like, "Sorry, sir, we're not serving breakfast anymore," and that was it. He couldn't handle it, so he started shooting shit up. So it's interesting. Anyway, the movie that I just watched for the very first time, you guys will be shocked to learn, is Mississippi Burning. And I started watching this. I watched it, excuse me. It's an excellent movie. I watched it because I just watched Superman, the new Superman movie, twice. I watched it twice. And then I was like, let me watch the first Christopher Reeve Superman. And I watched that and I was like, wow. I was like, he is an excellent, Gene Hackman is an excellent Lex Luthor. So I looked for other movies he was in, and Mississippi Burning is a fucking it's a classic movie. It's based off of a true story about these three civil rights workers who went down to Mississippi to register people to vote, black people to vote, 5,000 black people, and they were killed. They were killed by the Ku Klux Klan. And so Gene Hackman and Willem Dafoe as a baby, Willem Dafoe, are these two FBI agents who go down to find these three killed civil rights workers and arrest the perpetrators. And let me just tell you, there is one scene in this movie that is worth the whole thing. It's a fantastic movie, excellent performances, even from the Ku Klux Klan members. But Gene Hackman takes the cake with like the best scene. It's in like a juke joint, and where he confronts one of these Klan members, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's it's great scene. Okay, last but not least, we have the dumbest Trump statement of the week, and I will just jump to the punchline here. This on the screen here is the Fed chair, Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell is supposed to enjoy an independent overseeing of the Fed, and the Fed is the one who decides to raise or lower interest rates. And they do this in a very scientific way, in such a way to prevent the United States from slipping into a recession, or even worse, into a depression, and also to prevent the economy from overheating. So Donald Trump has been assaulting this guy publicly for a long time now. He's been attacking him and saying he's too late, Powell, and he's the worst. And I can't imagine who the hell would hire this guy, because he's awful. I think you know where I'm going, right? Here, let's.
Mortgage. People want. It does hurt people wanting to get a mortgage. People want to buy a house. He's a terrible Fed chair. I was surprised he was appointed. I was surprised, frankly, that Biden put him in. It does hurt people wanting to get a mortgage.
You surprised he was appointed? Huh? So maybe you should take a time machine and go back to 2017 when you yourself appointed him, you dumb ass shit. Good Lord. He appointed him. I was surprised that Biden appointed him. No, dude, that was you. He's so accustomed to blaming President Biden for everything. He blamed Biden for this. Now, Biden, to his credit, saw that Jerome Powell was a smart guy. And it was possibly in large part due to his reappointing. He reappointed Jerome Powell, despite the fact that he was originally appointed by Trump. He was like, yeah, okay, let's roll with him. And Jerome Powell, to his credit, kept us from sliding into a recession, despite every single economist predicting that Joe Biden's economy was going to be in the dumpster, that it was going to be a recession. There was no recession during Biden's presidency. And now Donald Trump is doing everything he can to antagonize this guy. And he's making noise like he wants to fire him. The last time he said something like that, the market tanked, because the market likes an independent Fed. So he's backed away from that. But, you know, if he needs another distraction, we might be looking at at Jerome Powell being fired this coming week, the next 2 weeks, maybe, if he needs another distraction. We'll see. But anyway, yeah, Lucy L, you could not make this shit up if you tried. Yes. So, folks, thank you for joining me for another episode of Storytime with BDD. Does anybody have any questions for me? I know I've run a little longer than I planned to. My apologies, but I had some important stuff to get out, and I think I've gotten it all out. Thank you for joining me for that, the getting out of all of that. Tracy M wants to know, why does he hate him so much? Well, I don't think he necessarily hates Jerome Powell. I think he hates the fact that Jerome Powell will not bend the knee to him. I think he hates Jerome Powell's independence. I think he hates the fact that when he says jump, when he tells Jerome Powell to jump or lower interest rates, Jerome Powell just looks at him like, I don't think so. And then he says, you can't fire me, you piece of shit. I think Trump hates that. That's what I think he hates. Let's see. Foxhill Dreams wants to know, when will this all end? I think that depends on a number of factors. I think it depends on Big Mac or KFC, possibly. I think impeachment is out of the question. I think 2026, the best we can hope for is flipping the House, but majorly flipping the House. Like, 30, 40 seats. If we get 30, 40 seats, that's going to help to reverse the tide of the direction of where we're going. I think, unfortunately, if the economy bottoms out and tanks, I think a lot of people are going to blame Trump for that, and that will bode well for us. Sadly, sad to say that. Claire, good question. When is your next book out? I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, I have enough content to write 3 more books. Just write 3 more. But honestly, I don't know. I took a bath on the last one. The last one I produced, I bet, and the last one was this one here, The Bigliest Loser, in which I predicted that Kamala Harris was going to defeat Donald Trump, and I was spectacularly wrong. So, Democrats, liberals, progressives, we were all kind of, commiserating, and we were depressed after. So I couldn't bring myself to even think of promoting that book. So if you don't promote a book, nobody's going to buy it. So that's what happened. I produced it, bought a bunch of copies, in preparation for, I thought, we got a guy with 34 felonies. How can he win? So there it is. And Cindy C, yes, I have seen Resident Alien a long time ago. Good movie. So, folks, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Band. So I look forward to. I think I'm going to try to do this show around this time again next week. So I look forward to seeing you all here next week, same time, same place. I love you all. Peace.